What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And I got some news regarding Lennox Lewis. You know, Lennox Lewis has been all over the place lately. He's had a lot to say about AJ, little about anyone else. So I wasn't going to cover this, but I think it's worth mentioning because, Lennox Lewis is a British fighter. And he is critiquing or criticizing, rather, another British fighter. And he simply said that Anthony Joshua is a big fish in a little pond. You know, he wants to be like Vladimir Klitschko and follow the Klitschko model, and by just fighting in the UK. Now, I don't know if Lennox Lewis is aware of Anthony Joshua's plans. And honestly, I don't really think he cares, really. You know what I mean? Because criticism is criticism. If you're going to hate on somebody, you're going to do it as long as you can. That's the only thing that I can come up with, because I'm like, okay, why is Lennox Lewis still talking about Anthony Joshua as though Anthony Joshua doesn't have plans to come fight in other places? You know what I mean? Like, that's your countryman, man. Give your countrymen the benefit of the doubt. You hear people like the LDBC, like, hey, man, stick to your American fighters. Like, support your American fighters if you're American. Well, that same advice, all you cats from the LDBC, you're right. That same advice should be applied to Lennox Lewis. Why don't he support his countrymen? You know what I mean? Like, why does he have nothing but criticism towards Anthony Joshua? You know why? Because Lennox Lewis was a fighter that was not liked. I didn't like Lennox Lewis. I didn't. I know he was cheated with the Holyfield fight, but I damn near smiled when I heard that decision, that it was a draw, because I didn't want Lennox Lewis to have the belt. I hated it what he did to Tyson after Tyson was out of his prime. You know what I mean? He beat Tyson up, busted and bloodied both of his eyes, cut them both on both sides. You know what I mean? Had my boy leaking. Then uppercutted him and then kind of just sat him down. That made me furious. I was pissed off. I'm glad I didn't bet money on that fight. I had quit gambling at that time. But I was a big gambler on boxing fights back in the day, and I'm glad I no longer do that, because you never know what's going to happen in boxing. But anyway, Lennox Lewis, we all know, we've all counterpunched through all this and, got to the reason for rhyme on why this guy is adamant on talking about AJ. He's just envious. You know what I mean? Because he knows, I didn't like him, but I'm not the only one. Okay? I'm not the only one that didn't like Lennox Lewis as a heavyweight champion. So everybody really blamed the Klitschkos for the heavyweight division going dark. Not so much. Think about it. Lennox Lewis, his last fight was with Vitali Klitschko. Vitali Klitschko was getting in. I mean, it was a good fight. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to say that Vitali just beat him up, but Vitali beat his ass. He was winning. In the shitty way that fight was stopped, I think honestly, Lennox Lewis had a lot to prove, and he chose the chicken shit way out. He just retired. A lot of people might call it smart. You know what I mean? But he really pulled some Mayweather shit. He really was like, no, I'm not going to go back and fight to prove that I'm better than Vitali, because he knew he wasn't. He hit Vitali and just ripped his eye open, okay? That eye was, which eye was it? This eye. This eye was, dude, it was like bad. That was one of the nastiest cuts. But the way they stopped it, right? Because I guess it was due to a punch and whatever. But if normally if it's past the fourth round, they're supposed to go to the cards. You know what I'm saying? And they just quite like, no, it's, the champion retains the title. The fight stopped due to a cut. Like, what the hell was that? You know what I mean? What kind of rules were those? Because those weren't normal rules. Anyway, he didn't go back to show the skeptics, the people that criticized him, that, hey, I can beat Vitali. Vitali was getting into my ass. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that fight was stopped, because Vitali was beating Lennox Lewis the hell up. Okay? He was opening a case of ass whooping every round. Damn near. Lennox got in his moments, right? But if it wasn't for that one punch, Lennox Lewis would have lost again. Okay? And he did not want to come back to the sport of boxing. So not only did people not like him, he didn't even avenge his loss that everyone criticized. That fight was very, very highly controversial. If you guys remember that. If you don't, look it up. It was 6 rounds. It was a good fight. 2 big, tall, strong dudes. You know what I mean? And yeah, and the Klitschkos, yeah, they came back. Vitali came back. You know, Vladimir took over. Lennox Lewis retired. You know what I mean? He should have went out on his shield. He should have fought. But he didn't. Nobody really talks about that. Why? Because nobody really cares about Lennox Lewis as a champion. Let's just be real. He was one of the less liked champions. He didn't have that likability about him. You know what I mean? So Lennox, I think, knows that. Lennox got all them damn belts. He was undisputed. He was the lineal champion, and still nobody liked him. Let's be real. Look at the UK. You guys, my subscribers from the UK, you know you didn't like that guy. You like Frank Bruno over him. Let's just be real. You know, he didn't like, Lennox Lewis knew he wasn't likable like that. So when he sees someone else comes out of Great Britain, someone tall, black, British, you know, but he's successful, people are looking at him in a whole different way. No one really came out of the UK that has been liked like Anthony Joshua. Let's be real. You know what I mean? And he knows that, and he sees that, and he envies that, because he doesn't know what that's like. And I get it. I mean, he's jelly. He's jealous. He's envious. You know, he's all that. You know what I mean? So when any time that Anthony Joshua, he can do all that shit over in the UK without even fighting over here yet. And Lennox Lewis had to go every damn where. Canada, Jamaica, England, US, and still wasn't liked. So I get it. I would be pissed off to like, damn, it wasn't like that at my time. I had to fight all these killers. Yeah, he fought some tough ass people. Klitschko, Tyson. Come on now. Riddick Bowe didn't want none. Evander Holyfield twice, you know? And he fought a lot of guys. He fought a lot of champs. If you look at his resume. But the thing is, someone that's fought half the fights, not, you know, ain't even fought half the fights that Lennox Lewis has fought, and is more likable. I think that enrages Lennox Lewis. He's like, man, fuck that. I did way more than that kid. Yeah, and you know, in a hole, but you know this guy just started. You know what I mean? And he's damn near undisputed. Well, it took you years to get that. So I understand where the jealousy comes from and why he's jealous. You know what I'm saying? But it's not AJ's fault that you're hating on AJ. It's AJ's fault that he's successful, but it's not his fault that he's liked. You know what I mean? That's solely up to the person and the people. You can't criticize a group of people for liking another person. You know what I mean? A public figure is a public figure. Something that public figure has that the public likes. And Anthony Joshua can't do anything about it. So Lennox Lewis should realize that. But guess what? At the end of the day, it won't stop him from criticizing him, saying stuff like this. You know, my only question to Lennox Lewis is now, right? What is he going to say now or when Anthony Joshua comes to the U.S. and fights? What is he going to say then? But anyway, I'm pretty sure he will say something. So stay tuned, guys. You know, sit back, kick your feet up, have you a drink, and listen to the Lennox Lewis hatery show, you know? But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Lennox Lewis. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.